Hello YouTube, this is an alcohol review of Honey Creek Hollow Spice Rum. Interesting bottle, 750 ml, very little information on the bottle. All you can say is that there's clearly an etching. The label is actually this little band. It's partway around. You can feel that it's a separate piece from the bottle, just obviously put on. This is spice flavored rum. And extremely small writing. It says 35% alcohol by volume, 70 proof, 750 ml. Obviously bottle. On the back there is no information other than it was bottled in, of all places, Clinton, Missouri. So when you think of fine rums, Missouri. There you go. Not the Caribbean, not the islands, not the legends. Missouri. I tease, but still. Have not tried. Usually I get a sip or two in before I do a review. But mainly the reason why I have not tried is because of this. Oh, hey. If you can tell, they even stamped the top with their Tree Creek in there. But this has obviously a wax top to it. Maker's Mark is famous for their wax top to it. And we have here a little pull thing. So the question, in case some of you are new to this, or some of you just are just too afraid to ask, for whatever the reason may be, embarrassment or whatever, why? Why the wax? Why the pull thingy? Why? Well, there's, in the olden days, cork placed in. When cork hits a liquid, it sucks up said liquid and expands like a sponge would, thus getting a tighter seal than you would get if you just took a dry cork and jammed that puppy in. Thus, when you look at old-time, very classic type of caves that are holding bottles of wine, you will always see the bottles angled down, if it's a real old one, or they're angled in sideways. See the level of fluid, level of cork, okay? But if you go to the really old ones, they're actually downwards, making sure the cork stays wet. Wet cork, expanded cork, sealed bottle. Sometimes that wasn't enough, for whatever the reason may be. And what they would do is that they would go and they would take wax, dip it into the top. Now, you're probably saying, okay, if the cork is in there and the cork is porous, some air may get in and contaminate the wine, or in this case, the rum that's inside the bottle. So you put this wax onto it, and that should do it, right? Yes and no. Wax is porous. So you've got a fine porous sealing a fine porous. The hope is that would be enough to keep it sealed down. But how do you open it? You will find with the old classics, they'll have a knife, a very small type blade, like a razor. And they would cut it, they would cut around. And it's to take that wax off. Also, there will be a heat shrink plastic that comes over it. It looks kind of like a wax, but it's not. That is also to help prevent any extra air from getting into where the cork is, and then sneakily, maybe, kind of, somehow, some way, get past the cork into the wine and ruining the wine. Well, to make sure that your clientele can get to the whiskey, or in this case the rum, they would take a string, wrap it around, tie it, leave some dangling out, all right, dip it and then they would pull it, and it would cut around no knife. Because you have no idea if your clientele has a knife. And there we go. Like tape, in this case. Aha. It's science. Leaving us with that. Plastic cork. Either way. My hands into the camera. Alright. Like I said, did not try this previously. Price is right about $20-some out here in the heart of the empire. There we are. Doesn't smell bad. At least the passing it around. It is a honk-worthy Alright, it is a slightly tan, yellowy, I hate to call it urine color, but that's what comes to mind. I apologize to the Honey Creek Hollow makers, but that is the color I seem to get out of it. Rum, depending on which rum, there's lots of different rums. Lots of different styles of rums that are out there. I don't think any of them have a restriction on coloring. I myself like the idea of not having fake coloring in my booze. There's one less thing that, is in it. But that's just me. And unfortunately, when you go with that kind of mindset, you deal with this kind of thing. Because a lot of the spirits tend to be clear or off clear. In this case, what we got here. So yeah, as much as it sounds bad, we called it berry colored. I wouldn't call it a praise, but it's showing that they are not adding any kind of food coloring to try to make it more than what it actually is. So by the eye and knowing all of that, it's not bad. It's nice and clear the way it's supposed to be. Nicely, no contaminants floating around. But being professional, there better not be any contaminants. All right. I smell sugar. I like icing and lemon. Is there any spice in there? Vanilla. My mustache. You get your schnoz that far deep into it. All right. But no real burn. No real bite in the nose. Light. Pretty good. The palate is as much as the nose. Very light. Not a whole lot to it. I get the ethanol, that bitter burnt tire ethanol comes out fairly quick, fairly easy. With the taste of white icing, with lemon and vanilla. There might be some cinnamon, but I'm digging and guessing and hoping. Do you get any other kind of cinnamon or clove or anything else? Because this is spice. You expect spice. Give me some pumpkin spice. But vanilla and, like I said, fruit notes. and so subtle. It is so short the hang time. I mean, at this point in time of the year, where you can tell by the background there's snow, you probably see my breath coming out. And this would not hold up. You could, shovel the walk, come back here, give me some of this to just help knock the edge off my snow shoveling day, and this would not do it. There's not enough body to it. Now, before you hang, a point against summertime, summertime this would be good. When there's 100 and some odd plus degrees Fahrenheit out there. Yeah, this short little hang time, just on your tongue, just long enough that you know that it's there, and off it goes again. Oh yeah, definitely. The problem, we'll get to the negative side again, it's so light that no matter what you add this to in a cocktail, is not really going to benefit from it. So think of a cocktail that has multiple rums. This might go well in it because it's not going to be fighting those other rums for position, but it will not stand tall against anything else. So if you put this in a dark and stormy, which is ginger beer and rum, rum and coke, that sort of thing. Whatever the Coke or the ginger beer is going to be the dominant flavor, and this is just going to tag far, far behind. So keep an eye on that. Because this is probably best in the summertime, you would want it cold. Do not add ice. Ice tends to mute down things. So if there's like sharp edges on it, sharp bite, sharp burn, I will say add a little bit of ice to it. This does not have a sharp bite, does not have a sharp burn. And the ice would take what little flavor that it has and completely muddy it out to nothing. It's barely standing as it is. So, yeah, cold, real cold. Refrigerator, not possibly. Freezer, no. Ice cube, no. Rocks would do it well. Rocks would do it well, yes. As in real rocks. You can get steel with water in it. They look like little cubes, as well as granite cubes. Freeze them, put them in. They will do well in this. I'm going to have to do a video sometime on between ice and these kinds of different cooling methods. See which one is best. But yeah, it is so subtle and so light and so delicate that ice would just destroy it. Would wreak havoc. Something terrible. Definite summer, definite hot day, hot beach, stuff like that. This is the time for this guy just to stand and shine. But be careful. I like things that stand strong on its own. I like a dark coffee. I like a Merlot wine. I like dark rums. Pardon me. I like things with good flavor to it and is there. Like when you stir your coffee cup and you let go in a spoon, it'll stand straight up, and that's my kind of coffee. This is so opposite extreme of that. That if you're in my wheelhouse, you may end up missing most of what's there. I would suggest if you're coming across somebody who, and I hate to sound sexist, on the female bent, much softer palate, this would be the way to go for that because it's so gentle. It is definitely one for the ladies and not one for the burly men out there. But that's just my chauvinistic ideology. So take it, leave it. I'm just some fool out in the middle of nowhere. No big deal. But there you go. This is Honey Creek Hollow. How do we end these things again? It's a new year. It's hard to do this. Honey Creek Hollow. Don't take my word for it. Buy it. Try it. Review on YouTube. Let the rest of us know your thoughts on this video product, so we know whether it's worth our money or not. Like I said, very subtle, so keep that in mind. Until next time, keep on drinking.